How do you define metacognition, and why do you think it is valuable for your students?
I think an easy way to define metacognition is to say that it's thinking about thinking. But once we start thinking about our students, I suppose what I think is it's more thinking about learning on their behalf. And for me, I see two major benefits to the students. One, it helps them understand more effectively what they know and what they don't know. I think they often have misperceptions and they think they understand things they don't, or they don't think they understand things they do, and this can help them reflect on that. I think also many of our students come to us not really understanding how to be effective learners, and if we help them reflect not just on what they know or don't know, but what they are doing that's effective or what they are doing that's ineffective, these can also help them to become more successful in the end.
All right, so if you remember last week, we talked about all of the verb tenses. Do you remember?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. And you were like, no, were you scared? And so we talked about that whole system, right? How every piece sort of fits together and we could see the pattern.
How did you design the jigsaw activity to include metacognitive strategies?
So the content that I decided to use the jigsaw activity for was actually a review of material that they have learned in previous semesters. So the jigsaw itself was giving them some metacognitive insights because they had to in the first section, they had to talk about what they knew with other people and confirm what they knew or maybe what they didn't understand. And then in the second section, they actually had to teach it or to explain it. And so this really reflected back for them what they understood, what they didn't understand, and where those holes were. And then as a wrap up to the whole activity, I gave them individually a few minutes and I asked them to respond to two questions just in their notebooks on their own. The first question I asked them to respond to was, what did you learn today? So again, because it was review, I think many of the students thought they had a good handle on the material, but they're still making consistent mistakes. So I wanted them to immediately note, oh, I thought I understood this, but I didn't understand it. And then the next question I asked them was, what do you need to practice or review? I let them make those notes individually because really it was for their own use and what they needed to do. I then showed them several resources that are available that I have posted on our Blackboard page where they can then actually go and review and practice those areas that they identified in their reflection.
Through your facilitation in impacting active learning through metacognition, what insights or reasons have faculty from other disciplines shared with you about the use of these strategies?
I would say there are probably two things that stand out to me in terms of faculty response to the course so far. One, I'm quite happy to hear from them that it's actually a lot easier than they thought it was going to be. During the kickoff class, a lot of the participants say, oh, this seems like it might take a long time, or I don't know. But by the end, when they complete that final self-reflection, they say, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. I don't need to put much time into it. It doesn't take much class time. And I don't really need to make significant changes to what I'm already doing as long as they're doing active learning activities already. So I think that that's something that's good for people to recognize. When we think about something that sounds like promoting metacognitive awareness, it sounds fancy and it sounds like it's going to take a long time, but it is actually something that's pretty easy to do. The second thing that many of the participants have noted is that it's actually made them look at their own teaching practice in a slightly different way. It's let them see themselves more as facilitators of the students' learning rather than the teacher as some sort of expert or font of knowledge. A couple of the participants have pointed out, and I think this really makes sense to me, it is a very student-centered approach. We're aligning with Valencia's policy of focusing on the students and the students' learning. One thing that I think promoting metacognitive awareness can do for students is it can make them much more independent. It helps them see their own role in the learning process, and it helps them take a lot more responsibility for it. That's only going to benefit them, and honestly, it benefits us as well.
It's like the definition. It's like something that's like it's like something that is factual, created, like it is like gonna be like a question.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
I love like something or just like something else when it comes to.
What are your final thoughts on promoting metacognitive awareness?
I suppose the thing that I want to share with everybody is that promoting metacognitive awareness in students is easy. It can be as easy as allowing a couple of minutes at the end of class for students to write down 2 key ideas that they learned that day, or to share with another student one concept that's still confusing to them, and then taking it that extra step and allowing them to reflect on what they're going to do to clarify that confusion. You could also identify an area where they're not acting effectively in the learning process. For example, they're not taking notes effectively. You can develop an active learning activity that would help them take more effective notes, and then just add that metacognitive component by giving them the opportunity to reflect what was different about the way they had been taking notes and the way you asked them to take notes, and then they'll start to see those differences, and then they can start to become better learners all around.